you need to brainstorm. What we have chosen on this one is to talk about the date. And then you need to brainstorm about the date and say, okay, what is it that we are going to say about the date, and so on. So as you gather information or ideas, you need to make sure that you take notes and write down where and who you got the information. So taking notes is very, very important. Taking notes is called citing your sources. So we will be talking about how you take notes and how you cite sources. I'm sure by now you may know that, but what is important is for you to remind yourself. As I'm always reminding students, it becomes a bit embarrassing when you have gone through this stage, or when you are presenting your final papers, or you are going through this stage doing master's or PhD, and then you are reminded about citing your sources. If we learn now, we are going to relieve ourselves of a lot of headaches in the future. Citing sources prevent us from a crime called plagiarism. If you plagiarize, in most institutions you get the lowest grade available, and you may even be kicked out of school. It becomes a very serious crime. There was a leader in one North African country called Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. I'm sure you've heard about him. And he had a son called Asaf Gaddafi. Who used his money, because Muammar Gaddafi got quite a bit of funds from selling of oil and so on and so forth for himself, not for the state. So he had billions and billions. So naturally the sons also had lots of money. So using the money, Asaf enrolled at the London School of Economics, University of London, and got somebody to write a PhD for him. But when it was discovered that, he didn't do the work himself, and most of the sources that he cited in his PhD were non-existent, the University of London withdrew the PhD thesis. So plagiarism can be a very serious crime, and it meets with very serious consequences. And it's not only students who suffer those consequences. 4 days ago, I was reading on the internet that the president of Stanford University in the United States of America has resigned. Why? Because of plagiarism. So a whole president of one of the top, Stanford University is one of the top 5 universities in the United States of America. And the president was forced to resign because of plagiarism. So it's a serious crime in academics. What has happened is that this president, before he became president, he was a professor and head of a research laboratory. One of the leading research laboratories in the United States, if not in the world. So they were researching on the brain. But when other scholars were reading his papers, these papers were written around 2009. Right? But each time people were reviewing his papers, some people were questioning certain assertions in there. So much so that this year it became too hot. People were saying, this guy must have been cooking some figures and cooking up some of the information and so on. So the heat became so much so that he has been forced to resign. So it's a serious thing which you should be take seriously. When you are citing sources, there are 3 major different formats that are used. There is the Model Language Association, MLA, the American Psychology Association, APA, and the Chicago German Science. Here at the University of Lilongwe and many other universities, I would say almost all universities in Africa, in Malawi and so on, they use the APA style. And the APA style, the simple list I can say about it, it is author, in brackets, year of publication, title. That is the simplest I can say. Author, brackets, year of publication of that book, article, then the title. If it is a book, then after the title, you have the place of publication. So, if the place of publication is in Zomba, then you say Zomba. Then the publisher. In Zomba, how many publishers do you have there? Kachere Publications, Manchinchi Publications, Uchanga College Publications. So that is in Zomba. Or government printers. These are publishers who are in Zomba. With publishers almost everywhere. For example, Heinemann publishers publish what kind of books? I know they publish all kinds of books, but the most famous ones for Sweden. African Writers Series. Well, has anyone read the end of the African Writers Series? Things Fall Apart. Who has read Things Fall Apart? Nobody. Then you are missing. You are missing a lot. Because there are lots of things that things Chinua Achebe says, Things Fall Apart, which are quite educated. For example, the main character there is a guy called Okongo. And then his father was a guy called Unoka. And Okongo loved his father. He hated him because Unoka was a very lazy character, unlike Okongo. And he used to borrow money from people. So when he has borrowed money from you, in order for him to remember, in his hands, he used to scratch on the wall with a white marker. And then there were lots of those scratches. So when someone comes to remind him about the Ngongore, he would say, look, do you see all this? Oh yes. These represent people that I have borrowed money from. Now you are here. So there would be maybe 50 or so. And then he is pointing at maybe number 5 or something. You are here. Or maybe 5, you would say, yeah, you are near. Maybe you are number 30 something. He says, look here. Yeah? You are 30 something. I've got to deal with these other guys first. So, do you think you have been fair to me? So, read that one. The River Between. Have you read The River Between? By Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Song of Lawino. Have you read Song of Lawino? Not even Song of Lawino. You people are missing. Let me see whether I have Song of Lawino here. Next time I'll bring a poem from Song of Lawino. Lawino is a woman who is complaining about the husband. The husband, unfortunately, has gotten married to books. So the woman is lamenting because the husband is engrossed in books and so on. And secondly, the woman has married a second wife. Why? Because we know when they married each other, this husband was in the village. So they married each other. When he got married to books, he thought, well, is not good enough. So he married this sophisticated girl from town for the Clementine. You read it, you love it. Unfortunately for us, it was on our syllabus, but then at that time, censorship board was very, very high. They decided to remove it off our syllabus because they said it was sarcastic and so on and so forth. Now, when I read some of what we know now, I don't see anything wrong with what was being said there. Anyway, there were lots of books which were banned. Some of what we know was banned in our English literature class, and then in our geography class, agricultural geography, we were reading a book called The Agricultural Revolution. But just because someone in the censorship board read the word revolution there, they banned it. So our lecturer said, you say your country's economy is agriculture based. Now you have banned this book, Agricultural Revolution. Anyway. So we use the APA style, and we will be talking more about that one as time goes on. Organizing information. After you have got read and taken notes on your topic, you may want to revise your thesis, because a good thesis will help you develop and plan properly on your paper. One way of doing this is through brainstorming. So, what you do is you develop an outline of your paper. Based on what you have read. And that's what an outline would look like. An introduction. If studies. What is the background? What should be covered in deep studies class? So in the background, you will jot down the important things which will be covered. Communication, deaf organizations, politics, and then conclusion. In the conclusion, you summarize the main points. Or you state the thesis statement. What you said at first, you emphasize it or you re-emphasize it. So that is one format. The other format is what is called mapping. Map the main things that you want to say. This is about depth studies. In depth studies, there are several things that you want to say. You want to say something about communication. And in communication, you break it down to some topics. Oralism. Communications manual. Deaf organizations. You have the National Association of the Deaf there. And that other association. That is the United States. In politics, you have the Milan Declaration. And the Association of Deaf Agencies. Those are political organs which advocate for the deaf people. So you have your map of what you want to say. So it's either you put it neatly like that, or you have a map. In most cases, people prefer this one to the map. But whatever you do, the end result will be the same. Or you create what are called note cards. In the note card, you write certain things, and where you find that quotation or what is being said. Note cards are very important, especially when you are doing a research paper. Because it's not always that you will remember where you got what information. And it saves you a lot of time to have your note cards with you so that you write deep politics. Right? Milan Declaration. What is the Milan Declaration all about? Which source did you get that from? And so on. What date? Right? Someone else has written about the 10, another note card. And so you have a pile of note cards, and you use those note cards in compiling your write-up later on. The next step is writing. So we have talked about pre-writing. So pre-writing involves quite a lot of things. But what you will be surprised that many students do is when they remind it. Like right now, we are supposed to give you an assignment. But when you be writing your midterm exam, that is when you are going to be excusing yourself. What did you say? My computer did this and that. Can I submit the exam after the assignment after the exam? Which means you don't have time to read already. Right? So you don't have time for pre-writing. Now, when you are writing, an academic paper follows a standard essay format, a standard compositional format, where you have an introduction, the body, and the conclusion. That is the standard format. So, it has a title, introduction, body, and conclusion. Some people like to start their academic paper with a title and introduction, while others will wait until they have already started the body of the paper before developing a title and introduction. So you can have an introduction, a title, or you can write, and then after you have written, that is when you have the title. Now, the book which I've been struggling to write for quite some time, because events are happening all the time. So that's why I haven't finished. But I already decided on the time. So I'm just adding things and so forth. I hope I will still be alive when the book is finished. Because this book starts, it's about I'm not a male chauvinist or something like that, so forgive me in the title of the book, because it's called Sons of Chimunga. But it should be Sons and Daughters of Chimunga, right? Because the main characters is a boy and a girl who were born when Chancellor College was moved from London to Zomba. You had the Chancellor College proper, Sotihiwa and November coming to Zomba, right? And there was vibrant life there, right? So there was this things that were happening there, right? They found the campus was built, and then there were these surrounding what I would say squatters or something like that, Skanda, DNA, and so on. Right? So these sons of Chirunga, right, were the product, right, of the students and the daughters of the soil from the villages. Right? So the products, since they didn't have a lot of help and so forth, so they were scavenging at Chancellor College there in the dustbins and so forth, and they grew up. Right? So this boy grew up, and then eventually goes to school, primary, secondary, and then comes back to Chancellor College, right, as a student. And then when he finishes, he has a degree that is a bit His height is presidential. You know presidential height? In London, when they talk about presidential height, he's a short guy, right? He's not all that big and so on and so forth. So his friends advised him to say, well, look here, if you want, because he wanted to go teaching. So they said, if you want to do teaching, with that height of yours and that physique, no one is going to take you seriously. So you have to join Marian Ghanaians. So he goes and joins Marian Ghanaians, and he becomes an instructor there. Right? So in 1993, right? No, 1992, he is called upon, right, plus his friends, right, to go and quell the riots which were happening at David Whitehead and Sons. So as they are moving from their camp at Kandeza there, this is called the Yellow Camp, right? They are in a green Land Rover, right? So his friends, he is the driver of Land Rover and so on. Then he's there with his gun, right? At that time, they had just been issued the M16 guns and so on. So this story is about his reflection, right? But whilst they are moving through Angelo Govera, right? And so it's moving back and forth and things like that. So Punjabi in there. Maybe I should be reading certain sections of it now and then so that people can critique and so on. But it's amazing. Yeah. So there are several techniques that may help you write your paper. You may use a statement, or you can use a free writing technique, or you can follow your outline or map, or you can pretend that you are writing a letter to a friend and tell them what you know about the topic. Or you can follow your note cards. If you have difficulties of thinking or what to write about, you can look back at your notes. And reflect on them. The last is the revising. When you have written your paper, it is very, very important to revise, because believe you me, even when I claim that I had revised my paper 15 times, if I revise it now, I'll still find some mistakes. So paper revision is very, very important, because then you clean it up. You look at the content. Have I said too much? Or have I said too little? How about the way I've organized my paper? Is the structure okay? How about the topic? Sometimes a topic if carelessly crafted, can be misleading. How about the grammar, the punctuations, capitalization, word choices, citations? Next time, we'll be looking at some of these things. You'll find that there are always the problems. Including capitalizations. One of the recurring problems when you are reading essays is people sometimes they forget the basics, that a proper noun has always to have a capital letter. You find a proper noun 4 small letters. It becomes a bit awkward. So revising is very, very important, because then you can clean up your paper. Guidelines for revision. Will the audience understand your paper? What you are trying to do is to get somebody who is not you to understand your paper. So when you are writing, will the audience understand your paper? Are the sentences clear? Are they complete? The paragraphs, are they relating to the thesis? Because sometimes you find that someone has outlined what they are going to say, but in the paragraphs they are forgetting and they are writing something else. Each paragraph, does it explain its purpose clearly? Paragraphs, do they repeat what was said in the previous paragraph? You may repeat a sentence or two for emphasis, but not repeating the same thing all over again. The information that you are presenting in your paper, is it accurate? The best way is to offer or to get a friend to read your paper and offer suggestions. Yes.
Can you just tell me out of the qualities and be a guideline?
Information.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You do not repeat large blocks of information in 2 or more different paragraphs. In other words, the same things that you have said, maybe in the first paragraph, you repeat it in the third paragraph or the fourth paragraph. Right? What I'm saying is, for emphasis, right, you might repeat a sentence or 2, but not repeating the whole paragraph. Then it's better to merge those paragraphs into one, rather than repeating it. Because it's not like a love letter. In a love letter, that's when we repeat for emphasis. Right? I don't know. Because you are using phone and so forth. You never wrote love letters. But we, during our time, half of the notebooks were torn so that you can write some letters. In standard 8, we were coached. So the headmaster, a guy called the Savage. If you go to Rumford West, that guy died in something bad, I think a few decades ago, but people still remember. He was a notorious headmaster. He was so notorious that 2 years ago, I was attending a funeral somewhere, and one of the reverends who must have been told by him also narrated a story about the Savage. Savage was very clever. One of the things that we were made to do was during harvest time, he would send us to dig groundnuts. So you know, students, when they dig the groundnuts, what happens? They'll be eating. So the captain was told that well, we had these groundnuts. The school used to raise money, right? So it was some kind of raising money. So it would be sent to somebody's garden, and we give these groundnuts, then they will give us money. The school will buy footballs and so forth for the school. So it was very important that we don't eat the groundnuts. So somebody knew that. But he also knew that we were very crafty. Right? So one time, he sent us to the garden. As usual, we ate quite a bit of the donuts, but we thought we were clever. After eating the donuts, in the donuts garden, usually there are some mango trees there, right? So you get some leaves into your mouth, you chew them, right? And you spit them out. So you think, well, that's it, right? So we are all happy, right? That we are cleaning our mouths of groundnuts. Now Savage comes, he asks the prefect, is everything all right? Yes, can you open your mouth? Open your mouth. They appear to be very, very clean. So he told the prefect, can you go to that tree? You know, these trees with fiber. You get fiber from there. Right? So he got the fiber and tore it into small pieces. Each one of you chew these fibers. Now, after chewing the fibers, what happens? All of us were guilty. Savage. Why was called Savage? He was very generous with his rod. So he whipped all of us and so on. But when it came to whipping us because of writing these letters, that was something else. Alright, so the last thing that we do is proofreading. As subjects and verbs agree. The day before yesterday, I was in church. I go for the English service, and the preacher was preaching about a girl called Abigail. And that Abigail had the very notorious husband who David went through to get some help. This husband did not help. So David was very angry with him, and he decided that he was going to deal with him. So Abigail went to plead with David. But this preacher, Abigail was human. So she was using he when she should have been using she. So since in church we are very polite. We laugh. But it wasn't very, very good either. The verbs and tenses, are they consistent? Pronouns, do they agree with the subject they are substituting? Word choice, are they clear? Because sometimes we tend to use words which are not very clear, they are ambiguous. Capitalization, is it correct? Spelling, is it correct? Punctuation, is it correct? References, are they properly cited? And so on. Plagiarism, we have already talked about. But plagiarism can be avoided by making sure that you are citing whatever is written. For example, here is a paragraph taken from Jack Gammon's Week in the World of Gerard Gaudens. Aristide Godsen, a grounded faculty member, entered the beauty salon for her regular appointment, proudly wearing her GND button. I was married to that button for that week, she later confided. When Sunday, her regular hairdresser saw the button, he spoke and gestured. Never, never, never. Offended, Aristide turned around and headed for the door. But short of leaving, she decided to keep her appointment, confessing later that at that moment her sense of principle had blocked out her value. Later, she realized that the hairdresser had thought she was pushing for a deep U.S. president, United States president. Suppose you want to use information from the above paragraph in your paper. the easiest way to avoid the plagiarism or plagiarizing would be to use quotation marks to indicate the word you use that are not yours. If you quote, your quote contains less than 40 words, you use quotation marks. But if it is more than 40 words, then all you do is you just push the font inwards and you quote the whole paragraph. Aristide Bosque, a Gaude faculty member, entered the beauty salon for her regular appointment, proudly wearing her DNP badge. Where do you find, or who said this? It was Gamon on page 187. DNP badge. What is that?
DNP or DBN?
DBN. A DBN badge was. You said there. DPN, in other words, this president now, right? So, Gaudens is equivalent in the United States for the death, right? But all the presidents, or actually, students' union, rather, were citing people, right? So, this lady was campaigning. It was during campaign time, as you students do during campaign time. So they were campaigning that, well, this time around they wanted the death of the president. So that is why she was wearing that badge. Right? But when she went to the salon owner, right, thought that, well, this lady was campaigning, it coincided with the campaigning for the presidency of the United States. Right? Why? You want the president for the United States and so on. I was married to that button for a week. What does it mean? I was married to the button for a week. Yes.
She kept wearing it for a week.
Yeah, she kept wearing the button for a week. That's what that means. Married to the button for a week. Though, of course, people do observe things. There was a lady in the United States who married a tree, a very big tree in Yellowstone National Park. Why do you think she decided to marry that tree? Sorry? For fun. How do you marry a tree for fire? She didn't marry the tree for fire. What had happened was that tree, there was a road that was being constructed through Yellowstone National Park, right? And this road was coming smack onto that tree, right? So it was going to be destroyed, right? So in order to save the tree, the lady decided she was an environmental campaigner, right? So she decided to marry the tree. She went to a local registry, and she married military. Now, the federal government would not interfere with the husband of a citizen of the United States. So that is how that's how the tree was set. So it is still there now in Yellowstone National Park. The roads, when they reached that point where the tree was, they had to divert. One lane going this way, the other lane going that way. All right, let's stop there. I hope no one will decide to marry that tree there and will decide to cut it. That's not yours, eh?
No,